Hello, hello, and welcome back. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yes, welcome back to the Queen's Tales podcast, or Faux podcast for those of you who are in on the joke. My name is Peyton 3.0, the EDM vocal sorcerer. Hello, ravers, regular listeners, EDM enthusiasts, Peytonators, Zombitrons. Thank you so much for being here. This is a show, really. It's not really a real podcast, and it's not even anywhere near long as a podcast. This is a faux podcast where I talk about the behind the scenes of my life, the behind the scenes of the brand, the behind the scenes of what you guys don't see publicly because you're not in my life, right? So I have my faux co-host of the show, the brains behind the operation, which is like the real person behind Peyton 3.0. Peyton James Crouch Jr. Give him a hand, folks. Why, thank you. Thank you so much. That was a lovely introduction, Peyton 3.0. Oh, you're welcome. So, what story do you have for us today? Well, yes, this one is a time where I actually was getting on a flight to Los Angeles to avoid the F1 race fiasco that was planning to debut in Vegas and on November like the 15th or 17th or whatever. So I used my PTO for my job, and my good best friend got me a flight to come visit him in LA. So that's what I did. Now, to get on the flight, and I do not like flying. I don't. I don't want to be bothered with all the hoopla that you have to go through just to get on a flight to be in an aircraft for an hour. I would rather for him to have come and gotten me, but I understand that with the sacrifice that would have to be made. So the fact that he got me a plane ticket twice, very grateful for that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we ain't paying for no expensive flights. So we went right to that cheaptickets.com, honey. Got ourselves on a Spirit airline, honey. Yes. Was it comfortable? No. But what can you expect? It's a budget airline, okay? Okay. Anyway, so as I get to the airport, I try to do all my research before I go to this airport. What are you allowed to bring? What are you not allowed to bring? All that jazz, right? So, I'm packing. Got the suitcase, which I believe was a carry-on. Yeah, I thought that was a carry-on. As you can tell, obviously, I'm not as experienced with flying too much. I did my research, watched the YouTubers, all that. And so I'm thinking, like, I get to the airport nice and early, and security, the TS security thing don't even open till, because my flight is early. It's like, well, no, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I get there, it turns out like 2:30 or so. I just go straight into TSA because I'm like, I should be able to carry this on to the plane. Like, what I'm saying? I've seen the overhead compartment, and they would fit this smaller suitcase. It was like It wasn't like a small suitcase, but it was small enough, you know? And so I'm sitting there, we're waiting, everybody's building up. The TSA is not open yet. And when it finally opens, and I get my bag and I go to the line. One of the TSA officers stops me and goes, "That's not a carry-on." I'm like, "Excuse me?" He says, "That's not a carry-on." And I go, "What do you mean it's not a carry-on?" He's like, "No, that bag don't have a tag." I'm like, "Should it have a tag? It's a carry-on." And he would not let me pass the gate with my bag. So I had to literally get out of line, and I was like one of the first people up there, go downstairs to have this bag checked in, and the line was long as hell. I didn't even know if I want to make my flight on time. Okay. Yeah, keep going. So I'm sitting there, and in my head, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? It was just like $70 that he spent. We didn't get one bag because these airlines will try to get money out of you any way they can, you know. And we were just planning on a carry on, right? So I was like, I don't know how much this is going to cost me, maybe $35 or so. I got the money, but I wasn't planning on spending that. And I was just like, you know what? I think I want to go home. So I was trying to call Patrick, but Patrick wasn't picking up the phone. You know, he fell asleep. But as I was planning on calling another Uber just to go back home, I stayed in line. Because I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to make the flight. Like, because my flight time is so close to when the TSA opens. Like, I'm thinking these people are open 24 hours, you know, whatever. But no, they close and they open. So I'm already a little aggravated. And the line moves quicker than anticipated. So I was able to get up there. The lady tells me, "Oh, you have to go over here to the self machines to pay for this bag." So I'm just like, he said, "Don't worry, I'll say your spot. You'll still be able to come up here." I said, "Thank you," because I'm not getting back in this line again. Okay. So I go ahead and I put the screen, get the little self checkout screen, and she guides me through how to do it. And the bag ends up costing me, wait for it, for that one bag, $80. That bag was more than what the flight cost us. And I'm just like, bruh. Right? So I just pay it anyway. Get my bags weighed. And honestly, I know there are plenty of y'all out there who fly, who do not like, that's why you want to bring one bag. You bring one bag so you can put it on the plane. You do not trust the airline to have your stuff, you know, because it happens a little too often. Your stuff goes missing. Your one suitcase goes missing because you had to part with it, you know, and check it in. So I really don't like that. I don't. My computer was in there, you know, some really important stuff was important to me. You know, that if it was, y'all lost it somehow, like, so I had to trust the airline with the bag, and also, of course, I trusting them with my life, obviously, to get on this flight to carry me to safety. Okay, we don't go down. So you basically have to trust people every day of your life when you leave the house. You're trusting that your family members or your roommates won't burn down the house while you're asleep, right? Things like that. So, and when I got there, and this is not my first time, because I think it's been years since I actually flown before this point. When I first went to LA, moved to LA to live, like a decade ago or so. You had to go down because every airport's different. So I landed in LAX. You had to go down. You had to follow the arrows to baggage claim. And then there was this tram you had to get on just to get to baggage claim. Then you had to walk all the way down to the terminal where yours was. And bags are just like coming down a chute. I'm just like, huh? And you just hope to the universe or to whoever that your bag hasn't been mistakenly taken, because it looks like somebody else's bag, right? So you have to hope for that. So as I get into the car with Patrick, because I told him you got to be at the airport before I land. He gets there and I tell him I have to pay $80 for a bag because the TSA officer would not let me take the bag on the plane, even though it could fit in the freaking overhead compartment. And so he was like, did you fight them for it? I said, fight them? What am I going to fight them for? You can't fight every battle. There are battles that you have to let go and pay the piper on. This is one of those. Okay, there's no argument. It's pay it or leave the airport. You know, so I had the money. I paid it. And obviously that means I was going to pay it on the way back. But this time I had planned to do it online because I wouldn't want to run into that risk, running into that trap again, because it's not the same airline. When on the way back, it was United Airlines, you know, and they made it clear that you ain't got no baggage, nothing. Ain't no carry-ons either. Okay? So, but because I bought it ahead of time, it was only like $35. I can live with that. I can live with that. And so Patrick, he felt bad. He literally decided that he wanted to buy my food for the duration of my stay with him. And I thought that was so kind. He didn't have to. I wasn't expecting anything. But that's the kind of good friend Patrick is. And we've had our rocky relationship. We've been on and off, you know, throughout the years, but we always somehow found a way back to each other. Maybe it's a universe, I don't know. Oh, isn't that special, folks? Give him a hand. So now, on the way back to leave, I'm telling Patrick, hey, we gotta be ready. And because LA traffic is horrible, I'm like, we need to leave like 3 hours at least before the flight because just how traffic is. Because my flight was like literally going to be in the middle of like traffic. You know how traffic was really bad. LA doesn't have rush hour. It has rush hours with an S. So I'm like, we didn't leave even earlier. When he's over there being nonchalant, he's like, no, you know, it will be cool. And now, you know, we'll leave it out at this time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. So we leave when he wanted to leave for the flight. And just like I predicted, the traffic was monstrous. But I lived in LA for 10 years. And he's in LA probably longer. He should know better. And so I don't know where he went. He's at the driver's wheel. And he somehow gets distracted looking at the city because we're sitting in traffic. Traffic is barely moving by inches. And somehow he puts his foot on the gas. And he accidentally, as I see him moving and he coming closer to the car that's in front of him, I literally yell, Patrick! As the car rams into the back rear end of the car in front. And the car in back, I didn't even notice, ran into us until Patrick said something. But that car ran into us. And so I'm sitting there like, what the heck were you thinking? And he said he got distracted. I said, no, you're the driver at the wheel. You can't get distracted. Even when traffic is slow and stopped, you have to be watching and aware. You're not by yourself. Somebody else is in the car with you. Okay? So the person in front, like I was like, we gotta get to this airport. We can't let, now that you ran into somebody, there's this whole thing with insurance and seeing the person and all this stuff that's want to slow us down. I mean, I'm not even make this flight. Okay, so he goes to try to put the car, pulls as we want it, and gets off at an exit, and we try to follow the car, or we try to wave the car down to get the car to follow us to get off the freeway onto an actual street where you get parked, where residency was. But that car did not follow us, and we don't know where that car went. And I was like, as Patrick was freaking out, I said, you gotta calm down. You can't freak out right now, okay? Number one, maybe he just said he wants to get home. He doesn't want to deal with it. And you're saying that a car behind us hit us too? Well, where's that person at? So none of those two followed us or nothing. So I said, listen, since they ain't follow us, and you're sitting here reeling in your head, you gotta calm down. You gotta calm down. We have to get to this airport then, okay? Let's take what we left off and let's get to this airport before this flight leaves me. Okay? And so he gets back into the car. He settles down. Luckily, the front of his car wasn't beat up, because with the kind of bumper he had, and the back of his car was fine too. Because it wasn't like the cars were going at full speed. We were neck and neck in like traffic, you know. So it wasn't like the car was traveling at a full speed. It was traveling at a very lower speed. But just imagine if it was a full speed and he wasn't paying attention for some reason, and this was an actual serious car accident, would I still be here today? So literally at every turn of your life, you're having to trust somebody. You're having to trust that the chef at the restaurant is preparing the food and it won't kill you correctly. You're having to trust that your job will pay you money on time and pay what they said they would pay you. You're having to trust that the cars will stop at the red light so you can cross the street and not kill you. You gotta trust that the plane won't go down. You know, these are all the things that we have to trust. Okay? So, if I can not depend on anybody or anything, it would be the ideal situation. But we don't live in a world like that. We live in a world where we do have to depend on each other to survive. Right? There's no other way. So you can only be but so independent as a man, but no man can be an island, right? He must find a way to make relations with his fellow human animals, okay? Finding the right people, but understanding that the right people also make mistakes. Why? Because nobody's perfect and life is unpredictable. Yeah, but I made my flights. We hugged about it. And I told him, I ain't gonna be here because now I'm getting on this flight. You gotta be careful out here. And this is, mind you, this is on Thanksgiving weekend. It was 2 days from Thanksgiving. So just to go into the airport where we got closer to it, it was traffic there, bumper to bumper traffic, because people were trying to go home to see their families. So you had that. Yeah. But I made my flight, got myself home, honey. Unpacked my suitcase and went to bed safely. Well, we're glad about that, Mr. Peyton James Krause Jr. Give him a hand.
All right. Yes.
All right, folks, that is going to be the end of this Focast, the Queen's Cast. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Give yourself another round of applause, please. Yes.
All right. Yes.
Now, for those of you who are not into electronic dance music, I need to thank you so much for being here today. Please hit a like, subscribe, share on your way out the door. For those of you who are ravers, electronic dance music enthusiasts, you or somebody at the gym who loves to listen to electronic dance music when you work out, festival goers, etc., stay right here. Don't go nowhere. These are the social medias, okay? But really, as I say in most of my videos, that social media is dead. So honestly, to really support creators, musicians such as myself, the email list is the most important thing that you can get on for communication support in a two-way street. Okay, get 3 free unreleased EDM bangers from me. And the easiest way to do that is by getting on the email list. Going to my website, Peyton30.com. Once you get there, on the front page, there will be a button that gets straight to the point. Hit the 3-song button. Put your best email in on the next page, your phone number if you're willing to. It's up to you. You don't have to put the phone number. And of course, Stay tuned to get a nurture sequence where you get those free songs, and you go ahead and get to know me. And I get to know you. I get to know you because this is a two-way street, folks. So reply to the email, say what you're thinking of the songs, all that. I love to hear from you. I do answer all my emails, okay? So thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Queen's Tales. Bye-bye.